counterattack against Königsberg was to be expected, given the symbolic significance of the city. Command over the German panzer forces was given to General von Manstein, and the Germans massed for attacks between Elbing and Allenstein. But they had lost many of their earlier advantages. The Panzer IV, dreaded in the earlier stages of the war, no longer held the edge against the rumbling behemoth of the Russian RV series tanks. Unable to penetrate the frontal armor at any reasonable combat range, the Russian 85mm armor-piercing rounds had no such issues, forcing the panzers into costly flanking maneuvers if they were to have any chance of taking on their opponents. Russian tank-killer aircraft, armed with large-caliber cannons and wing-mounted rocket rails, are arriving at the front in even greater numbers, and many burnt-out panzers in open terrain tell of their lethality. With the panzers tied up in the north, it is time to activate the front in the Odessa sector. Marines are ready to capture the bridges, and General Stefan's light tanks are positioned to exploit the breakthroughs for rapid advances into Romanian territory. The tank battles between von Manstein and Stefan are indeed not going well for the Germans. They cannot pierce the heavy tanks at all. We've got a 98 average armor on the 9th Heavy Tank Division, and that means they're only doing 50% of damage. So the German medium tanks themselves have an armor somewhere between 30 and 50. But the heavy tanks have a piercing. Where are we? A piercing of 88.9. So these guns are going straight through the panzer forces if they're not even there. And obviously the aircraft are making a difference here as well. So while there are some remnants of the enemy air forces, of the German Air Force up in the air, the superiority is now quite significant at this point. I did want to have a quick look at the heavy tank divisions because we're currently in the defense, and I was planning to swap out the support anti-air for the Army Scouts, because the Army Scouts are giving a 20% soft attack bonus for line artillery. I was wondering if that was going to apply to the self-propelled. It should. So right now we've got these things bring in soft attack of 63. So if we are swapping this out for Army Scouts, then we get an extra, it's 14 soft attack and slight reduction of hard attack. But we're going to put anti-air, self-propelled anti-air in. So that overall improves the soft attack a little bit. And it also improves the movement speed in forests and plains, which is a good thing, because that's the area that we're mostly fighting in. So Army Scouts going in here, and then we are going to put the heavy self-propelled artillery in there. And let's have a quick look. If we have enough, we should have. Self-propelled anti-air, the existing ones. We should have enough for this. Yes, I believe we do. The other thing, so that change we can make. And the other thing that I wanted to eventually change was change these into mobile battalions, so mechanized infantry. So I'm just going to have a quick look at how many we need actually. Not that I have the 50 army XP that it would cost to do this, but that doesn't actually tell me because the design is too expensive. Okay, anyway, so once we have 50 army XP, I can try this out and see how many half tracks we would actually need, because we are starting to see, to have about 800 in stock, so we should be able to start changing these around. Anyway, we'll be defending the line in the north while we are completing the. I'm actually going to assign some new shortcuts. Because we're mostly looking at these two fronts now. So this will be the first and this will be the second. So yeah, while we're defending there and waiting for the supply situation to get sorted, that's an area that we actually might need to improve. So at some point I might swap things around a little bit to improve supply, because even in the relatively well-organized Central European areas, we are struggling with supply. So that is something that maybe we're a bit behind in the support equipment, the support companies. So we have some catching up to do here. I might swap out the maintenance also for logistics, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, what we are going to do while that's happening is to activate the 6th Army in the south. We do have Marine divisions here, which should be ready to lead the attack into enemy territory, and obviously will be supported by the present infantry. We've got Casagrandi's 2nd Army here, and we've got the 16th Army Guards here as well. So we've got reasonably experienced infantry there. And before we do that, let's have a quick look and see where our Marines have actually arrived. Let's see if we can plan the naval invasion. Yes, we can. So let's plan a naval invasion from here into Buea. And has it taken 4? Yes, we've got 4 divisions there. So that means the destroyers will be on a naval invasion support in the Gulf of Guinea. Well, we're not going to activate them just yet. We will wait until the planning is complete. And we are a little short on supply here as well. So we will see how well that works. Unfortunately, this is way out of range of anything that we can use to scout out what's actually going on there. So we will try to take the ports directly, and if that fails, then we will have to retry. So that's that. Okay, we have divisions in Dar es Salaam, so we can now begin retaking. Yeah, because of our compatriots have abandoned the countryside here a little bit, so we do have to retake the supply hub here. And we're going to deploy along the lines here, and the order is to push the enemy back towards Goma and correct the lines in the south here, retake the supply position, and destroy whatever Germany, Middle Africa divisions we encounter now that we have landed here, and we'll have to deal with that. More troops moving about, but there seem to have been some reshuffles, so we had lost a bit of ground here as things went. So that's in order, and that is obviously, I'm going to have to check that. So that is going to be the 3rd, and that is going to be the 4th shortcut. There we go. All right, let us begin and have a look at the air zone here. We have aerial superiority, but we've got the scout planes on, we've got the fighter wings active. Should be more than 100 in theory. We've got 9 fighter wings. Are they on interception? Maybe that would be why. So let's activate air cover. The fighters can strafe a bit, but we don't have close air support wings ready for support. They're currently helping out over the Polish air zone. So we will see if we can manage to break through without support from the air. We should. Yeah, we do have railway guns available. So the Marines are going to lead the assault. We're going to break. The first break is going to be towards the supply hub at Chisinau, and from there we will encircle the southern part, and then break through, encircle and destroy, and see if we can push deeply into Romanian territory. So the Marines are going to launch, and they are going to be supported by Casagrandi's 2nd Army, and obviously also by the light tanks of Stefan's light tanks. They're more, at this point, they're actually more suited towards just light breakthrough operations, because the divisions themselves are a little bit outdated. But let's see how that looks like. So Marines leading the charge. and having quite some firepower. But obviously the guards divisions themselves are no slouch either, and the river crossing isn't quite as daunting as it used to be. So Guderian still seems to have been, after his multiple failures, relegated from duty of running the tank divisions, and instead has been left in Odessa with infantry. That is a determined... okay, Guderian running determined infantry attacks now. He's still a very qualified general. We do have some weakness here inside the lines. Why are we so... I think we can redeploy the Indian divisions here that we've got. Bring these along the somewhat weaker sectors for reinforcements, maybe including this one. There we go. Okay, so let's bring some additional troops in. I don't think they can break that, but we will see how it goes. We have problems with rubber from India. Yeah, rubber imports. Yeah, we're not getting an awful lot. We're not getting an awful lot of rubber from India. We still got a few factories building, so we'll see how that goes. We should be able to deal with that without the need for further imports. Okay, we are attacking across the river, forcing the complacent defenders back near Odessa, and the Chinese frontier has completed. The Chinese make up by being a border that Russia can protect itself from any Chinese or Japanese incursion. So now we can invite East Turkestan and Mongolia. So I don't think East Turkestan exists anymore, but Mongolia would be interesting. And with that, we should have a decision available. Yes, we can now invite Mongolia. We don't want to invade them. We want to invite them into the Moscow Accord. That'll secure the borders, and we can dispatch some of our troops towards the Fengtian border and secure against potential Japanese aggression as well. All right. With that, this would give us power projection. Do we still need to do anything here? This is still in the works, so I'm holding off on that for now. But do we have anything? That will help? That's stability, internal networks, strength. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Let's get that out of the way. The DRS for improved intelligence. Haven't done much in terms of missions this round. We just don't have enough operatives. We do have Bistrolyotov available to us. So I have got because we have taken Königsberg where he was active. So we'll send him over to Danzig, and he's going to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, I sincerely doubt that they can break through here. But these are just regular infantry divisions, somewhat outdated, nonetheless. That actually need to be upgraded as well. Not doing that while we're in the middle of combat, but let's see if we can manage to break through here. Yeah, Guderian's troops already had to retreat, and now it's just local remnants. And now that we have broken through, we are going to activate the armored divisions. And okay, these can actually not easily... we'll leave these here. We don't want to attack over the river with these tank divisions, but we're going to activate the 1st, 3rd, 4th, 6th, and 7th for a rapid breakthrough towards the coast. And we will be launching renewed assaults along the lines here. Into the southern sectors as well, in order to keep them from potentially reinforcing, and we'll launch where we have Casagrandi's troop. We'll launch additional troops of Casagrandi here in the north, in order to stabilize the in order to stabilize the northern flank of this. And now we are getting counterattacked, but the tanks should be able to break through by themselves without too much trouble. It looks like Chisinau is undefended, which means we can send additional armor south immediately, while we are sending 2 divisions west to take the position. And I think with that, okay, Chisinau has already fallen. With that, they will have supply problems reasonably soon, and we can now we can send the infantry in to back them up and make a rapid breakthrough south towards the coast, encircling a fair few divisions for potential destruction, while we are supporting the northern flank from here. Okay, so troops on the move. We'll send the infantry in to defend in Chisinau, and we leave 1 tank division behind here to defend this position. Actually, it might not even be necessary. I've got 2 more divisions pushing south, and the 3rd and 4th are already in the enemy hinterland, and they have absolutely nothing to stand against our attack here. We're still repelling panzer assaults. Now Guderian has been given command again, after von Manstein has failed miserably. But Guderian's panzers are not going to make any difference in the north either. And it seems like the supply situation is mostly fixed. Yes, it is. We actually have 3 military factories. That's a new problem to have. What do we need more of? Let's have a look. Actually, flame tanks. We might actually put a few more on the. Let's put 25 on the heavy flame tanks, because they are so heavily used across multiple areas. Okay, troops here still moving into place, and the Marines are how far away? 28 days they need for planning the invasion, so should not be a problem. All right, light tank forces rapidly breaking through enemy lines here, and we should be able to encircle them. Mongolia has accepted. That is great. Mongolia has joined the Moscow Accord. With that, we have a new frontier in Central Asia, which means that I can probably get a few troops here and send them further east towards the. Actually, the question there is, what's the supply situation there? There is some, yeah, there we should have some supply here, so we can give them a front line supporting the Mongolians in against potential incursions from Fengtian. So it's just to have some troops there, and that also means I can shorten the front line here quite noticeably, because we no longer need that many divisions on the line. Okay, so the troops here are mostly positioned in case there's any trouble with the Kumul Khanate, but the Moscow Accord is now spreading vastly across Central Asia as well. So with Mongolia as part of that, is good to have. All right, let's get back to the action, where the 13th Infantry Schwarzenberg is trying for a desperate counterattack, and obviously, yeah, light counterattacks only in the north. It looks like the Austrian troops have been completely surprised and overrun here. We have already encircled and cut off. We're going to get some troops here to defend the vital sector in Chisinau. Going to have to deal with some frontline mess here sooner or later, but for now, the light tanks have had a massive success, have rapidly broken through enemy positions, and that means we can now begin the cleanup operations here with pretty much anything across the lines to cut off and destroy enemy positions here that are that are rapidly getting shortened in at the coastline, and I think the remaining troops are going to surrender very quickly. There we go. And just like that, we have in a significant thrust cut into the first objectives of this offensive. Now we obviously do need to realign the troops and get everything sorted. But Odessa is relieved, and we can get the 6th Army divisions concentrated. We're going to we might even be able to just move up ahead with the 6th Army, with the 6th Army troops. And if I can get it, there we go. All right, let's concentrate the 6th Army divisions here. And I don't think they have any organized defense really along the lines, so we'll see. Well, we do need a few more. We do need a few more divisions actually coming to the front lines here. So once the tanks are there, we'll see if we can make a further breakout. The next target, obviously supply is going to become a problem very rapidly, but the next target would be what is this? Yasi, and then we will make basically on our way to Bucharest. So that was a very rapid breakthrough that I did not think would go this easily against the relatively large number of enemy troops, but they have taken significant losses very quickly. 144,000 have surrendered. It looks like the situation in general in the United States of Greater Austria, it's not going to be great. The war support is going to suffer from that, and we're still, if we're looking at the German attacks in the north, they are expensive in terms of losses, really. So I'm gonna see if I can find something from Guderian here. 25 tanks. Make that's more actually. 37, over 40 tanks lost in a single offensive. So this is these are very costly offensives here. And obviously the tanks are getting slaughtered out in the open against the Russian heavy tanks, which are devastating to them. Now, once these attacks eventually abate, and the troops are going to, and we can organize reorganize the troops, get the organization, get the offensive planned, then we'll start pushing towards Danzig. But we do need the supply cleared for that as well. So for now, let's make sure that the divisions are where they're supposed to be. Okay, modern rubber processing is finished. So that's actually big, because that means our rubber woes are mostly resolved, and we're getting a few more. We're getting 3 more factories, so that should be enough. And with that, we have a research slot free, I think, for support companies. I might look into the logistics company just to see if we can change that for the heavy tanks, simply because they are too thirsty. I'm not sure helicopter transport is necessary for that. So this would be. I think they get different. They get slightly different. This doesn't have fuel. This doesn't do anything for the fuel usage. Okay, so not. It's a bit better on the supply usage, but it doesn't help with the fuel usage. So it would probably be better for something like infantry. Whereas for the tanks, I would prefer the regular logistics company. So let's do that. We'll use this one for change. All right. And we have a facility. Do we have a new facility captured? Oh, the Bessarabian Naval Engineering Facility. We still have somebody. We've got Malinin, a submarine specialist. He looks happy. A submarine specialist who we can assign. But for now, we have no breakthrough points that we can use for anything. So clearing out the last Dutch positions here on the coast. And then we'll wait for the tanks to make their way to the front lines for the next breakthroughs, really. So let's leave one, or send one already past. We'll see if we can they're bringing troops in here. So let's see if we can push the exhausted defenders back. We'll take Constanza after the breakout. And the marine divisions, where's the other one? 2 marine divisions. They can be positioned for a breakout in the north across or here in the center across river positions. Can we get? Yeah, I think there's the front line. Yeah, and then once that's done, then they can potentially begin helping out in Africa. Okay, we are getting troops along troops onto the lines here. So let's begin pushing the enemy back. Unfortunately, we are. Well, first we have to do. Our first mission is going to be to retake that supply hub. So I think we are going to do that as the first mission. And for that, we actually may have to get more troops northwards. So let's get that slightly adjusted. There we go. Okay. So troops here, and we will focus on the supply position, obviously. So these troops are on the move. We have an ace pilot. Good. I haven't looked at I have to check the ace pilots actually. Do I have any necessary decisions that I need to take? We got the bolster spirits. War support is slightly recovering, but it's a long game, so that's what we'll have to deal with. All right, let's keep our eye onto the enemy front lines here. I think we actually have enough tanks to begin the assault along the lines here. The infantry is going to support this. We might actually not even need the marines because the enemy troops haven't had time to dig in yet. So we can use the momentum as long as supply holds. Supply is going to be the major factor. No enemy aircraft in sight anywhere. It looks like the enemy air has been noticeably degraded. So let's cross the rivers and push back the defenders. And I think we can then swing north, clear out the northern sector. I'm looking at some potential encirclements here. It looks like some tank divisions are now being repositioned here as well, because the whole front line is crumbling at this point for them. They're still running assaults at Allenstein, but they're sporadic. Most of the German tank divisions are still in the north, though, so no change here just yet. But rapid advances here should allow us to potentially encircle and destroy quite a few divisions as well. So let's see if we can force a few breakouts. Where is the next supply hub? Actually, there's not much else here. This supply position is these supply positions here are emergency supplied over rivers at this point, because we're not really holding the lines yet. Once Chisinau is complete, then we will have additional capabilities here in terms of supply. But for now, I think we can potentially actually see if we can get around some of the enemy positions and use the tanks to clear out just to rapidly advance and clear out the southern sector here completely, while there's really no organized offense or no organized defense in any way from enemy troops. We're driving them definitely before us here at this point. There are some Austrian defenders in Varna, but we'll just bypass these, and we will get there's not even any need for the marine divisions at this point. At some point we'll have to consolidate the front lines, because this is going to get a little out of hand with lack of supply and everything else. So this is probably a good stopping position for now. once we have sufficient troops here. And but the armored divisions here in the south are running completely free, and and we can let the infantry clean this up. Actually, we'll push directly into Bucharest, and then I think we're already at our target. I would argue. So with that, we have pretty much collapsed. Let's get these also encircled and destroyed. And I think these divisions are not going to last much longer. So light tanks rushing across now organized counterattack in the northern sector. But I think we can, once we have the south cleared up and the front lines organized, we can reposition for an assault into the northern sector. This has thrown the enemy front lines in complete disarray at this point. And it looks like the German tanks are still attacking at Königsberg. So we are, I think we are reasonably clear. I do have to keep a quick eye onto the African position. Africa doesn't move very fast, so we don't have too much trouble with that. All right, let's see how many more. Okay, that was I think a little ambitious. We'll have to. The front lines are now getting a little fluent. Bucharest has been taken, but we now need additional troops to stabilize the lines here in the south, because they obviously are falling back. See if we can take Varna, and we've got additional infantry here coming in. The 4th Mechanized is at this point reasonably exhausted from lack of fuel and everything else. But we are fuel, ammunition, food, everything. But we have achieved our strategic objectives at this point. And we're just organizing the territory here. But I would argue that this has been a major success very, very rapidly. And obviously the resistance after this rapid breakthrough is quite noticeable. This might actually be existing resistance that does not see us as liberators, but as new occupiers. So we'll have to stabilize the southern sector here, and I'll have to reorganize the front lines a bit, get one army here probably to defend, just to hold this sector, while we concentrate forces for the destruction of the Austrian forces in the north. And we should be complete in terms of supply here. Yeah, the biggest problem here supply-wise is that we don't hold Danzig, and there is not an awful lot of supply in this whole salient here. So any tank operations south would be very, very difficult. But what I want to attempt is to see if we can manage to destroy the enemy tank armies. But we'll get to that in a minute. For now, we have to consolidate the gains here in the southern sector and get this all reorganized. We have established military governors in Bulgarian and Romanian territory, and obviously the resistance there is actually quite noticeable. But we still have to get the garrisons in place and get everything organized. So once that's all done, then we'll see what the resistance targets are. For now, the 6th Army, so we go over to the European theater actually. The 6th Army is going to hold the southern sector, while we've got Casagrandi's 2nd Army in the northern sector, which is going to work with the rest of Stefan's 6th Light to push through here and to destroy the remnants of the enemy security forces here. They should overall, the losses that they've taken in the south are quite significant, and that means if they are trying to actually defend these front lines, they will find that they will noticeably weaken the lines elsewhere, which should allow a more general offensive over summer into Reichspakt territory. The one that I'm most keen on still, however, is to destroy the German panzer forces, because this is the only sort of combat effective formation at this point that still has any chance of achieving anything, although without air support that is rather difficult. Talking about air support, we are actually having a noticeable loss of aircraft over Poland due to the Polish air zone, due to not enemy fighters, but due to anti-aircraft guns. So we may have to revisit the design of the aircraft. I want to have a quick look if putting armor plates into CAS is actually reducing the damage they take from ground-based AA. Nope, just check the wiki, has no impact. It's one of those little things that I actually dislike somewhat, because that's why you would have the things like the Ilyushins with significant armor plating to support as far as I remember, to support the ground operations more. So that would have made sense. But anyway, it is what it is. Sending the Marines over to Dar es Salaam for potential shipping into the African theater. But for now, we have to keep a little bit of an eye on the situation here, because it will take a little time for the troops to actually make their way into their designated areas. And there is a potential for enemy redeployment for counterattacks into occupied territory before defending troops actually can make their way there, especially if they have to deal with, like here, for example. Let's push the Austrians back since we're here, and begin taking our positions up here. Yep, they are. Let's make sure that we're holding Bucharest, that they're not retaking this. But yeah, they're able to bring their troops in faster than we are to bring the troops in from the north, because we no longer need these divisions in Odessa either. So these are 10th Army divisions. They can return to their normal positions. Yeah, counterattacks everywhere. We've got large parts of the 16th Army tied up here under enemy assaults. But we will see what this all looks like, where we can stabilize the front lines. It's not a massive problem. In fact, we might actually just hold the lines here. It's not a massive problem if we are pushed back somewhat. I can always send in reinforcements. Bucharest would be nice if it held against Höppner's counterattacks here, but the 231st Guards. The biggest problem is going to be supply is a massive problem now, because we are, and in that regard, this is actually not an ideal situation here. We may have to. We may have to try to relieve them in the north here to ensure that we can get supply out of Ploiesti into the northern sector here. So let's get that organized, and make sure that we'll get the troops eventually into their assigned positions. Where's that large? Okay, the large bulk of divisions is now starting to flow into the necessary regions. The camels of the 5th Cavalry have arrived at the front lines faster than the rest of the troops in order to support the lines here. And we are trying to detach the light tanks here from the north in order to secure the flank and to secure the flow of supplies here, while we are obviously taking a while to get everything redeployed. There we go. All right, positions taken under immediate counterattack, obviously, but that means once the supply hub is connected, and that might take a few days still. Where is it? We actually don't have a railway connection. That is part of the problem, because we don't have an actual railway. We do have one, but it's very thin. So we actually do need to fix the. Yeah, we have insufficient railway connections. That's the problem. That needs to be immediately fixed. So we need to upgrade that railway connection in order to get sufficient supply to the outlying positions at the front line here, and then we can run further offensives. But for now, everything needs to begin moving towards the lines and actually begin reinforcing these positions. So let's get, I would like some additional infantry in Bucharest if it's all the same. And we are bringing additional troops into Ploiesti, and we're trying to have the light tanks down there for counterattacks as well, to regain organization along the lines once we are. Okay, there we go. We'll push immediate counter-offensive. We'll push them back. And we do have to hold in the north here. Light tanks have not yet managed to make their way out. And counterattacks, obviously, immediate and heavy. Bucharest needs to hold as well, ideally. So let's bring some more troops down there. And we'll see if we can stabilize the front lines here. Now that, obviously, enemy troops have managed to come off the lines everywhere and reinforce this sector. The Germans actually, or the Reichspakt troops, are mounting a general counteroffensive along the whole front line, by the looks of it. It's not going to do them any good, but we do still have to... the front line's still a little shaky after the initial breakthrough. It does take a little bit of time to consolidate that. So especially these sectors here are seeing noticeable counterattacks from German troops, and I am trying to get the light tanks down here in order to reinforce this. But unfortunately, we've been pushed back by the Austrians again. We'll immediately retake the airport and send the 235th in. We'll get some support from the surrounding divisions and from the tanks in the north. So if we can manage to actually retake this position, that would be grand. And then try to hold the airport against the immediate enemy counterattacks, and see if we can get the lines to stabilize. I think the lines in the south are starting to, lines around Bucharest are starting to stabilize. The 141st and 231st are digging in. But Ploiesti is looking a little shaky here against significant infantry counterattacks under Höppner. We do have air superiority, and we do have actually a Persian and Indian close air support running in as well. We do have 2 CAS wings that are reasonably experienced at this point. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these to redeploy here and help with ground attack operations in the area as well. Ploiesti might be tricky, but projects have finished. The Dreadnought project has been completed, and we now have the Dreadnought hull. I doubt I have enough naval experience to make that happen yet, but we'll take an immediate look at it, obviously. So that's complete, and the firefighting drills are done as well. I am interested, I don't know if I think the Dreadnoughts have guns that are outside the regular research tree, at least if they work anything like the previous ones. But let's have a look. How's the Land Cruiser coming along? We do have an iteration here. During stress testing, the chassis of this Vyatogor was found to be unable to handle the immense weight, causing structural deformation. Design team is split on whether to add additional reinforcements, which would further increase the vehicle's weight, or use lighter materials, potentially compromising durability. So we could entirely redesign the chassis, that gives us 5% reliability, but slows that down again. We could reinforce the thing, which gives it armor but reduces its reliability. Or we could use lighter materials for minus 5% armor. I think lighter materials is the way to go here, because this thing is going to have more armor than it needs anyway, against whatever the Germans can throw at it, I believe. So I think lighter materials are warranted, given the opposition that we're facing. And it doesn't set us back another 10%, and it's taking forever to actually get anywhere. No, we're going to use lighter materials, and we will see if we can manage a breakthrough here. Okay, that's all underway, but we now have a research slot available. That was from the That was from the upgrades here. I do need to do the landing craft research here as well. We'll see how the landing's going, but for now I'm going to go with this one, and we are going with the Balski Savod, and we have the close air support trait. We have one available here, so plus 10% ground attack sounds good. Let's go with that, and we can change the design. I have the full metal airframe under research already, so it's probably not worth doing it. We'll do it for the next generation of things. We've got, let's have a quick look what our raiders have been up to. Not an awful lot by the looks of it. So not much success anymore hunting enemy convoys. There's a few Austrian convoys, but that's about it. Other than that, inroad here has been made, but the lines are having difficulty stabilizing. So we'll see. I think a large part of that is that these are under constant assault here. These troops. So we're having trouble spreading them across successfully. That's why I'm trying to get the 6th Army tanks in order to stabilize the southwestern sector here. Feng Jian wants docking rights. I'm going to decline that. I'm still not too happy with that. And last but not least, let us have a quick look at the dreadnought. We actually have some rubber. We have some rubber surplus at this point. I have put a few more factories into infantry equipment because I do want to get. I think if I'm going to look at some random division, I'm going to see. I'm seeing a lot of outdated foreign equipment in use here, and I would definitely like to get that done a little bit quicker. So to get everybody equipped with modern assault rifles. That should once we've got the 30 factories, should go a little faster. And if we have actual surplus of rubber now, I think we can. Increase the production of the mechanized equipment. Let's put another 10 factories onto that and see how that goes. All right, but now I doubt I have the Navy experience to do this, but let's have a look at the Dreadnought hull and see what that looks like. So this would be a Dreadnought armor, obvious. Super heavy armor. So this is a 450 millimeter belt and 210 millimeter deck. That's ridiculous. It does have a very distinct look, though. So if you are into naval history, you'll recognize the Yamato class layout pretty clearly. We only have the engines 2. Because I believe we don't have the more modern hull yet. But let's see, Balski Savod, obviously. Let's see what that would look like. Most curious I'm about, yes, it's the super heavy battery. Yeah, so this would be 460 millimeter or 18-inch guns. And obviously we would have two forward batteries. And where's the rear? There we go. Rear battery. One rear battery. So that would give it the classic layout of 9 18-inch guns. Then anti-air, obviously, fire control, radar for the anti-air control. I still haven't researched the better secondaries. So that would be a 25. Let's compare that to the was it the Sevastopol? That's the Sevastopol, was it? Yeah, so it's the same speed as the Sevastopols, but longer range, almost double the hit points. Not quite the reliability, but these guns, and the armor is massive, and these guns absolutely shred. So it would be nice to have a few more secondaries on board, honestly, but I could throw another secondary battery in here, but that further reduces the speed of these things, but at least that gets it up to par with the Sevastopols. Oh, I have a discount on the whole design. Oh, that's useful. Obviously, what are we going to go with here? We are heroic ships would be interesting. Yeah, let's go with that. And we'll call it. Actually, this would have been used for cruisers in the Soviet Navy. We could go with cities, although we've kind of used that here. Imperial theme. Yeah, we'll go with the Imperial theme, and we're going to call it the Tsar Vladimir class. All right, Tsar Vladimir class of ships. And we shall save this. Now the question is, how long is it going to take to build one of these? So I'm obviously going to put the Tsar Vladimir. And that is going to be called... can we give it a custom name? Tsar Vladimir III? Yes, we can. And we have to... Yep, there we go. All right, that is the lead ship, the Tsar Vladimir Romanov III. And that is going to take priority. Let's see. We're currently refitting some of the Admiral Ushakovs, but I am going to prioritize that, obviously. And that would be joining the we'll get her built in Petrograd for now. Okay, so that would take until 1945. Yeah, I doubt that the ship is still going to complete in time for the before the war ends, but one never knows. Definitely this would be the flagship of the fleet after the war for a new naval dominance of the Russian Empire. And here, okay, that's we're holding Chisinau without problems, and we just have the fights ongoing in the south here. Just a quick look around us to make sure that Africa hasn't gone off the rails. We retaken the... Yes, we have retaken the supply hub. So here we just have to wait until the railway lines are completed. Once that's organized, then we have supply here, and then we can make further offensive operations. But we're holding the lines now, and we have the troops to break out from here, cut off the enemy, and destroy them. I just want to have the supply back so we don't get any. Some light tanks in the desert here as well. All right, Marines. How far are they with planning? They are actually complete with planning. It does say division still preparing. Division's not in position. No, that's these two divisions. They're not supposed to be. Okay, they are supposed to take the railway. That's for starters. They're not supposed to be part of this. So let's get them to use the railway again. That seems to be ready though. So we would get the destroyers under Admiral Isakov, who we can give. We don't have what is the? It's I think it's the ground pounder for shore bombardment. Yeah. What can we give him? Fleet protector, destroyer leader. We give him destroyer leader. All right, and these old destroyers would be on naval invasion support, which means we can then launch the naval attack into unknown shores, because we have absolutely no clue what that looks like. The destroyers can't escort them all the way there because they don't have the fuel for it. But this is the closest position that we're holding for them to execute this. And that would then give us the option to launch the attack. So destroyers are escorting the Marines, And so far, I think no enemy naval presence anywhere in the Atlantic, so we should be relatively clear. Well, what's going to be more interesting to see is if the Marines can manage to land successfully here. And we do have to keep a bit of an eye on the incessant counterattacks here in the north, where especially Ploiesti is coming under vicious assault, and the tanks still haven't managed to detach themselves from the defense against the northern counterattacks here. So the sector in the south here is still a little bit shaky. We'll see if we might have a few operations here and there let's divert some troops from Bucharest north. Immediate counter assaults. We've got the Azerbaijani 4th Infantry now coming in clutch, with the 146th Guards joining trying to defend against these incessant assaults here. But more importantly, we would need. I think I'm going to get the. Yeah, we're gonna stop planning the assault in the north here. I'm going to get the light tanks, the additional light tanks. There should be additional troops here. Yeah, there are additional infantry divisions here along the lines from the 16th Army. Actually, too many, honestly. So we'll get the 2nd, 4th, and 7th to assist with the situation in around Bucharest here, because we're having trouble stabilizing the lines. So these tanks are going to be rapidly jumping into the breach before enemy troops make their way in, and they should have a noticeable effect on noticeable knock-on effect on things. This position in the north is under vicious counterattacks here. The biggest problem is that nobody's entrenched except for the eastern positions here. But yeah, vicious counterattacks along the whole line at this point. And they are not giving us much time to breathe here while we are securing the positions. So the tanks for now are going to help. I might have to leave two divisions here and get 3 divisions south. Okay, now we've got the light tanks. We have the light tanks supporting the front lines and holding the position at Bucharest. Agent Valeria Smirnova has been captured in Austrian territory by the Austrian counterintelligence. So we will obviously have to mount the rescue operation immediately, and we should have that available. Where's Austria? Yeah, rescue captured operative, and we'll get Sabanisuskas to do that and bail her out. And we can hire another operative, actually. We can get a political connected or a well-groomed operative. I'm going to get with the... I don't need another Lithuanian. I already have one. We'll go with Tarasov. And Tarasov is going to take over the position in Vienna that had been where she had been captured. So with that, we should be. Where's my rescue operation? It's still in. Okay, we need infantry equipment. Are we short on infantry equipment? No, we should have enough of that. Yeah, we do. Okay, everything's in the green. We have all the equipment that we need. So the rescue operation will mount. The light tanks from Stefan's 6th are just helping the infantry stabilize the line against the enemy counterattacks here. And that means, okay, we're having trouble here. It looks like despite the losses, the German panzer forces are are coming to the point that they might be pushing us back towards Königsberg. I can't be having with that. I will send the... where is the 12th Army? I think it's 12th, the anti-tank guns. Yeah. Where are the rest of them? Okay, we've actually have them already in the north. Yeah, we're going to send the rest of the 12th. So we've got a few, we've still got 5 divisions from the 12th Army. That means we do have to change the lines here, but that's not a problem. So these divisions are going to, it should be this one. Yeah. And they are going to go here and then support the lines. We just have to make sure that we have them all the way north. Okay, so we're sending the rest of the 12th in. That's making sure that we're holding the lines here against the, well, it's the numerical superiority really. So they're sending everything they have to try and retake Königsberg, which is unsurprising. We've also got the 13th Army under Govorov currently available, so we'll send them to Allenstein. We'll send them to Allenstein to help with the defense here, and because we've got most of the heavy tanks concentrated in the north, until the rest of the anti-tank divisions is present. But yeah, still vicious counterattacks near Königstein. So that, like I said, the German armored fist, despite it has been battered and bruised, is still significantly capable. And lastly, we have supply in Africa, so we can already launch the offensive north towards Bukoba, and then destroy the encircled Middle Africa divisions here. And the Marines are at sea. That's the destroyers. There we go. 17th Army Marines are underway towards Buea in an attempt to get Middle Africa to capitulate and to deprive Germany of its last remaining colony in the African continent. And then we might actually send them back towards Germany East Asia. The problem obviously being that being the navy, but in the grand scheme of naval things, we're in June, so the summer offensive's ongoing. But towards the end of the year, the Sevastopol will come online, and we will be ready to take battle in the Baltic Sea, to take on whatever enemy forces are concentrated here, and make short work of them if we can.